You're listening to an archived Cabral Concept podcast. After listening to this show, check out the most up-to-date podcasts available at stephencabral.com/podcasts or search directly on iTunes. And now, welcome to the Cabral Concept, where board-certified naturopath and integrative health practitioner Dr. Stephen Cabral shares how he was diagnosed at the age of 17 with a life-altering illness and given no hope for recovery. It was only after studying and traveling all over the world did he discover how to combine ancient Ayurvedic healing practices with state-of-the-art naturopathic and functional medicine to fully rebalance the body and re-energize it with life. It's time to discover how to get well, lose weight, and finally feel alive again. And now, here's your host, Dr. Stephen Cabral.
And today we are answering your questions. They've come in over the last couple weeks, and we are finally starting to catch up. Not quite up to date, but definitely within the last 2 weeks, if you've submitted a question right before that, we are getting to your questions today. So we've got some great ones. I want to get right into it today. We do have 4 questions. Each one will be about 2 minutes, probably 3 minutes an answer, and then we'll move right into the next question. So let's get into it. And the first question is from Emily. Emily is asking, "Hi, Dr. Cabral. I grind my teeth when I sleep very loudly. My teeth also hurt often and are sensitive to cold. Any recommendations on how to fix this?" So yes, a lot of people who grind their teeth, it comes from tension, stress, anxiety, and they're feeling that during the day. And when they go to sleep, it actually doesn't turn off. So we look at how our bodies work. Our bodies work in what's called the sympathetic nervous system and the parasympathetic nervous system. So fight or flight or rest and relaxation. And when we're in the sympathetic nervous system or the fight or flight, we're more likely to clench down our jaw, to grind our teeth. And that's when we have tension. That's when we have stress. It's when we're not breathing as well. And so one thing that I found is this, is that if you're carrying that tension over into when you go to bed at night, it's going to cause the same grinding of the teeth. One thing that I've done that's helped quite a bit is, well, there's 2 things. So first thing, you're asking for my suggestions, my recommendations. You can actually look on a hair tissue mineral analysis to see if you have high calcium when you look at your electrolytes. And that high calcium will actually show you how high your stress response is. So on that lab, the highest number is 120. I see people in the 200s and 300s more likely to be in that high sympathetic nervous system stress because, again, when you're in that stress mode, you're pulling calcium from the bones or from the tissues into the bloodstream that allows for vasoconstriction, which means constriction of the arteries to get you in that fight or flight. You can also run an adrenal hormone stress test, and running that will actually show you if you have high cortisol at night. So a really nice test to not only look at sympathetic nervous system drive, but you can also look at, are your cortisol levels high? So those are 2 great recommendations. You can read about them more in depth at stephencabral.com/store, but also I want to let you know, what can you do right away? So right away, something that helps so many people is using something like our deep sleep package. It's not ours. We didn't create it. What we did was I formulated it from other current products that are out there to make it better and to make it more wide spectrum. So meaning that it helps for many different, like let's just say you're not able to work with a functional medicine doctor. You're not able to run all these great labs. Well, it has magnesium citrate powder to get you into a deeper sleep, to turn off that sympathetic nervous system. And then it has other products like Best Rest Formula, which is going to have some 5-HTP, which is going to have other herbal things to help you relax. It will have some melatonin in there as well. One other thing you could use during the day, though, would be magnesium glycinate. And that's an absolutely fantastic product. And you could just dose that evenly at breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and then take your magnesium citrate before bed. Or I'll backload it completely, meaning take 3 capsules at dinner to allow for, again, turning off the sympathetic nervous system, calming and relaxing the body. So start there, either run the labs, see what's going on with your body, then start to tweak and that, because again, if you see high cortisol on an adrenal stress test, you could use a product like phosphatidylserine to help, and ashwagandha to help bring down those levels. So Emily, hopefully that helps you answer that question. And then the whole thing with sensitivity to heat and cold, well, if you're grinding your teeth and you're taking off the enamel or you are demineralizing it by doing that, it's just going to leave you open to more of those sensitivities to hot and cold. So definitely check that out. It should absolutely be taken care of now. All right, Anne is up next. Anne is asking, "Hi, Dr. Cabral. We really liked episode 254. It's always nice to hear what rules and guidelines other people set for themselves in the way of healthy choices. So that was an episode that I really enjoyed doing as well. That was a Motivation and Mindset Monday where I kind of talk about creating your own rules and philosophy for life. And if you haven't already done that in your life, if you haven't heard that episode, you absolutely should check out episode 254. I give six of my own personal rules that I live by every single day. Again, I'm not perfect. I don't always master those 100%, but those are rules that I try to live by. All right, second part of the question. Also, if you didn't receive the email we sent, we wanted to thank you so much for the bizarre recommendation on episode 246 of placing a bar of soap at the foot of the bed to help with symptoms of restless leg syndrome. It actually works. Good. So I'm so happy that that recommendation worked for you. I find it hard to believe myself because there's so many great things. So that was in episode 246, I believe, was a Q&A where you asked a question before. So, and I gave you a bunch of different recommendations, which will help for the long term. But it's funny, so many people are saying that bar of soap does help. And I'm going to tell you this. I am never one not to use anecdotal evidence. I don't care if they never do a scientific research study on why placing a bar of soap at the bottom of the bed under the sheets when you have restless leg syndrome works. I don't care if they do it or not. If it works, it works. Let's just keep going with it. All right, so we look forward to each and every one of the podcasts. Have a great day. Hi, Dr. Cabral. I was thinking about purchasing the Fatlossity manual. So same question. The Fatlossity diet plan manual, could you explain more about what this product is? Is it intended for short-term or long-term way of nutritional eating? Okay, so I never talk about the Fatlossity diet plan, and that's because it's something we use in-house at both of my locations with our personal training clients and body transformation clients. So it has 3 phases, and literally this was built 20 years ago, almost 20 years ago, 19 years ago when I first started to get into fitness, personal training, nutrition, certified strength and conditioning, all that good stuff. So what I looked for was how do we truly transform the body? And just like anything, just like my naturopathic medical practice, just like literally everything that I do, I try not to let any ego be involved. All I say is, who's doing it best right now? Are there multiple people doing it best? Can I combine all of those different things into one perfect formula? And so it's a 3-part manual. Phase 1, Phase 2, and Phase 3. And again, you never have to buy this manual. I'm going to tell you what it's all about right now. And that's my thing, is if I can share with you what works, that's obviously the goal of the Cabral concept. So what it is 3 phases. For people who need to lose weight, you start with Phase 1. And it teaches you by using a low-inflammatory, low-glycemic, low-food allergen meal plan, can you lose the weight very, very simply through that nutrition, hopefully with a little bit of exercise as well. I give you some bonus intervals at the end of that manual, but it is a nutrition manual. And then after that, in Phase 2, we start to add back in some more different types of fruit, and I give you the timing of the day of when you could have that. And then I start to add back in other products, like a once-a-week cheat meal that could be any food that you like. If you're a huge fan of bread, well, that's your once-a-week cheat meal, and you really enjoy it. And then Phase 3 is finding out how much your body can tolerate in terms of cheat meals or in terms of different types of foods. Some people can do a Thursday and a Saturday cheat, or a Wednesday and Saturday. Some people can do a Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, so like every other day cheat meal, and they maintain their weight, they maintain their body composition, and they also maintain, obviously, good mood, good health, good joints, no inflammation. Some people can't, and it teaches you how to do that. Now, this is only like 36 pages long. It's very short. Don't look for anything fancy. This is a manual. This was never meant to actually be for the public, but I decided, of course, with the Stephen Cabral store, it's why would I not offer what I do offline in Boston with the rest of the world? And that's essentially what we do is, we have to be able to get this information out to more people. We're not expanding to other locations. I am mentoring other health professionals and personal trainers, but that doesn't mean that I can't try to get this information out to other people. So hopefully that answers your question. It's basically 3 parts, best used for those people who are looking for a healthy diet. It is not the Dr. Cabral Detox. It is not the smoothie every morning that I recommend. However, if you want to use that all-in-one every morning like I do, and you want to use that as part of the Fatlossity plan, it works brilliantly with that, and it will only make you healthier. Keep in mind, too, the Fatlossity plan is also to help people who are not used to eating healthily as well, meaning that it does 3 meals per day and 2 snacks, mid-morning and mid-afternoon. And that allows people to never feel hungry, to always feel satiated, to start eating smaller meals, and then eventually you can go to my formula, which is the shake smoothie for breakfast, lunch, mid-afternoon snack if needed, and then dinner. But, work your way up to that maybe as well. So that's what the Fatlossity diet plan is. Again, if you want to see it, you can just go to stephencabral.com/store. Anyone that orders course, from there, that's the only place it's available. You actually get an autographed copy from me that I ship out right from the Cabral Wellness Institute in Boston. So hopefully that answered your question. And hopefully everyone got a little bit of information out of that either, of how we start clients off in our body transformation programs in Boston. Dee is up next. She is asking any suggestions on a quick and drug-free way to get rid of, let's read this word, dyshidrotic eczema rash. I deal with them from time to time. I understand rashes stem from the liver, so I'm juicing and eating raw, taking milk thistle, and using coffee enemas. I'm also doing vinegar and different types of soaks and using shea butter mixed with lavendar and frankincense. I'd appreciate any input. Thanks. Okay, so I work with eczema and psoriasis, honestly, almost every single day in my practice. And that's because we do so much work with the gut and we do so much work, around that. People are starting to understand, just like yourself, Dee, that eczema and psoriasis and these types of things typically come from the inside out, just like most disease, right? Now, it's not a foreign thing that we just kind of contract. Although I'm going to actually talk about this with this specific form of eczema. But what we're doing right now is we're helping people repair that gut, and then that's getting rid of really massive types of eczema, psoriasis, alopecia, which is stress-related as well that I've spoken about in the Cabral concept. I want to talk about this, though. Dyshidrotic eczema is a little different, okay? This is a little different. If anyone's ever had it, if you've never heard of it before, it's usually like the inside of your fingers, sometimes on your feet, and it's almost like little blisters, little bubbles of a rash, and it gets red, the skin gets a little scaly. Some people say it almost looks like tapioca pudding. I actually had this when I got really sick a long time ago. And it's funny, Dee, until you asked this question, I never even thought about it because I don't see dyshidrotic eczema a lot. However, I know how to help you with that. So let's share that with you now. There's a few really important things to do. Now, dyshidrotic eczema can be different in this way. It can actually be topical, and that's so rare for me to actually say that. But if you're using right now products in your home that are antibacterial, so no antibacterial soaps, no using alcohol in your hands, don't use any sudsing-based formulas. That means the sodium laurate sulfate-based products in shampoos and in soaps, anything that makes it suds, stay away from those at least temporarily because they can damage the actual bacteria on the skin. We think of bacteria in our gut, like the probiotics, right? But did you ever think that we actually have that same good bacteria on our skin as well? And we can wash that away every time we're always using all these antibacterial everything. I'm not telling you to not wash your hands. I'm not telling you to put your fingers in your mouth or anything like that. What I'm telling you is that using alcohol all the time, using antibacterial soaps all the time can lead to other issues as well and really weaken immunity. So you have to stop that first. That's very, very important. Second, one thing that I've seen as a topical solution can work. I'm going to give you my main recommendation right now, and that is an organic cold processed or pressed coconut oil. So that's worked really, really well for a lot of people topically and putting 1 tablespoon in their mouth and swallowing it as well. So you're getting it from the inside and getting it from the outside. So inside can help you as an antimicrobial, antibacterial, and antifungal. So that's great. That helps. And then on the outside, same exact thing. Other things that work topically, tea tree oil. Aloe vera has worked really great for a lot of people. Apple cider vinegar has worked for some people. Manuka honey also works for others. So any one of those you could try. Now, again, you have to do really about a week's worth to get the full effect. And I know I named so many products, right? So if I had to do it in order of importance, I would probably say use the coconut oil first and then go to maybe like a tea tree oil, which is a really nice antifungal as well. And then you could also do washes during the day with apple cider vinegar on it. That would be okay. And then you can move into aloe vera and then maybe some manuka honey, which is really healing as well. And, of course, at the same time, you're doing great. You're cleansing the liver. I think that's fantastic. Another thing you could do is an actual liver detox. That would work. And then you might want to look too also at actually looking deeper. If you have any other eczema besides this topical based rash or the skin rash, look into then, do you have any type of intestinal based permeability? I'm sure you've heard me mention it before, but the organic acid test is a great place to look at that. All right, we're moving on. Last question of the day. Really nice one. This has never been asked on the show before, so I love the first-time questions. Elizabeth is asking, "Hi, Stephen. I have read Inositol is good for that get-up-and-go feeling and any anxiety, irritability. Do you have any thoughts on this product? Love listening on your shows. Thanks." Okay, so Inositol, also pronounced inositol or inositol, 3 different ways, same exact thing. What is it? Well, so here's the thing. This is actually a phenomenal product that very few people know about. It is good for anxiety. It is good for irritability. It is good for depression, and it's good for obsessive compulsive disorder. So don't get me wrong. I don't make light of any of these things because I've literally suffered from all of them. When I tell you I was a mess at 17, 18, 19, 20 years old, I was. And literally almost everything under the sun, I contracted, I whatever you want to call it. But at the time, it was a real struggle. Life was not very pleasant. But now I can kind of laugh about it because I've experienced most of the things that people will ever go through in their life. And it just allows me, hopefully, a little bit more empathy. If not, I think I would go insane, of course, thinking back to all of these things. But this is a great product. I've included it in my all-in-one. I've included it in my multi, which you can see at stephencabral.com/store, so that you don't have to take it individually. However, if you feel like you need an added dose, I have no problem with you trying that. It does work. Clinically, it's been proven not only to help with all mood-based issues, but also cholesterol, autism, and ADD, ADHD, and a few other factors as well. Keep in mind, when you're thinking of inositol, I want you to think of it this way. I want you to think of it as a B vitamin. And that's why you should never take it really by itself. You should take it with a B complex. How I like to do it is part of an all-in-one, part of a multi, but also I know a lot of people, like myself included, need a little extra B vitamins. And that's why I use an activated B complex. It's really an inexpensive product. You get so much out of it. Highly recommended. I think it's it's not even $1 a day. I think it's like less than $1 a day. Such a great product. Inositol is actually called vitamin B8. So it's not referred to it as that, but it acts as like a B vitamin, and it's as part of that B vitamin family. So all B vitamins work better when they're taken with all of their partners, all of their synergists, because I don't love single vitamin solutions. But if you're already taking a multi, if you're already using the all-in-one, and one of those things that I recommend, and then you take that on top of it, well, then that's fantastic. That can be your added dose, but never without your other B vitamins. So Elizabeth, hopefully that answers your question. I have no problem with you trying that product. Just remember, you always start. So if the dosage is 2 capsules, start with 1 capsule for about 5 to 7 days, feel it out, see how you feel, because there's always the possibility that it doesn't make you feel very good, right? So after that, then you could go to the full dose, 2 capsules if that works for you. Try it out. I like taking it in divided doses if the actual product allows for that, morning and evening, but you're going to find out what works for you as an individual, and that's what we call bioindividuality. So hopefully that answers your question. Really great questions today. I mean, the whole weekend, if you didn't tune in yesterday, definitely check out just stephencabral.com/256. You get to hear totally different questions from yesterday, a lot of digestion, a little bit on toenail fungus, a little bit on psoriasis, some spinal-based issues. So a lot of great things to tune into. Thank you, everyone, for another great week on the Cabral Concept. I appreciate every single one of your listens, and we're back tomorrow with another Mindset and Motivation Monday. Don't miss it. Did you know that the body really only becomes sick or imbalanced in only 2 ways? Over time, you become deficient in vital nutrients, and you also accumulate toxins internally and from the environment. As those nutrients diminish and you increase your total toxic load, your body then begins to show the first signs of dis-ease. It's actually quite predictable, and the good news is that if we know how you began to fill up that proverbial rain barrel, we also know how to empty it to begin the healing process. I was fortunate enough to learn this ancient healing process from my mentor after suffering from debilitating diseases for close to a decade. It was only when I began to implement these techniques did I finally overcome my illnesses and go on to live a life of energy and vitality that I now enjoy. I'd like to share with you now what I discovered after traveling all over the world and how to combine the best of ancient healing wisdom with state-of-the-art science. Allow me to teach you exactly how I've been able to help over 250,000 people to empty their rain barrel and begin to transform their body and lives into what they've always hoped they could be. To get your copy of the international bestseller, The Rain Barrel Effect, simply go to stephencabral.com/rainbarrel.